Hi guys, it's Honey Slime, and today I just wanted to do something simple and quick like I did in my last video. It's gonna be another ranking video, and yes, I'm gonna milk Monster High ranking videos for everything that I can until I come up with something unique. But today, if you couldn't tell, we're gonna be ranking Monster High Mansters. I think in my last video I said I was gonna rank the dolls this time. I lied. I'm gonna do that in another video. But let's just get right into it. These are all just my personal opinions. So please don't get too offended if like I put your favorite in D tier or if I put your least favorite in S tier or whatever. Maybe I should make the tiers more interesting. I think I'll make the first one would trust to date my child. And then D is like get out of my house. A would be like C, I don't know. C will be don't bring him home. B will be like, who are you? Like, you're mid, you're nothing, you're not memorable. And then, okay, I'll make this one. And then, fuck. Okay, and then I'll make this one. Okay, I think that's good rankings. So I'm gonna rank them on how safe I would feel if for my child to date him. I don't have a child, but if I did, you know? So we're gonna start strong. We're gonna start with Deuce. I can't ever think of, like, a bad thing Deuce has done. Like, he loved Cleo with his entire heart and did, like, everything he could for her. Like, I'm trying to think of one negative thing about Deuce, and I can't. I just simply can't. Other than the fact he can turn people to stone, but even then, that's, like, not his fault. And I think he'd be, like, he's obviously very loving. He loves Cleo, like, so much with, like, his entire heart. So I think I gotta put him here. Like, I can't think of a single bad thing he's ever done. He's just correct. Next is Claude. I think him and Deuce should kiss. But Claude, he's kind of like, he's pretty romantic. He does his best. But at like certain times he's just like, he doesn't do it right. He does not do it right. Like, he's not great at giving gifts. He gives practical gifts. And I typically am not a fan of practical gifts. And I don't think it's an issue that he gives practical gifts. I think it's an issue that he gives practical gifts to someone who wants more romantic gifts. Like, he can't tell what they want. But I think he's got, like, a good heart. I think he's trying. But again, in Friday Night Frights, he was kind of, like, rude to Draculaura. Just, like, not wanting her help and stuff. But I think I'll put him in would trust to date my child. Gil. So quickly, I already know where I want to put him. And I think y'all know too. But I'm gonna try to be more logical and reasonable about this. And not put him in get out of my house. So maybe I'll put him in that tier just for looking bald. But, obviously, Gil is a coward. He is a coward, and as much as he loves Laguna, he doesn't love her enough to stand up to his parents. Now, I know obviously that that's like a very realistic thing that does happen to people with like parents not approving of relationships and being too afraid to tell them or stand up to them about it. But then I look at Deuce and I'm like, oh, if his parents didn't approve of Cleo, he would so be like, but I love her, and then convince them. So, um, Gil could definitely do better. Not Gil, like, could do better in terms of dating, like, he could do better. He could be a better partner. Um, hmm. But then there was that one scene in Escapes from Skull Shores where he did, like, rescue them, and he has stood up to his parents for Laguna previously. So I guess he's not as horrible as he could be. He's just a coward. Don't bring him home. Manny, I have a lot of thoughts on Manny. First, him and Iris's relationship is so cute. Like, he's not great at communicating, but he learns to be. He, like, tries his best for her, which is very sweet. Like, he acknowledges that he's not great with communicating his emotions, but he still tries to get past that for her. And I think that's, like, very sweet, very kind. But then there's just, like, so many movies where he's, like, insanely sexist. And I cannot get past that. If my child is gonna date someone who's gonna be as misogynistic as Manny is, I don't care how sweet he is, get out of my house. I'm sorry, I know putting Manny below Gil is probably gonna be an insane take, but maybe I'm too woke. Heath, don't bring him home. Do not bring him home. The only thing that saves him. No, I don't know, because he's also pretty sexist. So if I'm gonna put Manny down there for being sexist, it's not fair if I don't put Heath down there for being sexist. Heath is like lower than Manny though, because he's also just straight up annoying. I've never liked Heath's character. He's so annoying. He can't handle anybody being better than him. He doesn't have one redeeming quality that I can think of. Other than that one time he did save Abby. But whatever. He's just sexist, he's annoying, he destroys everything. Get out of my house. Jackson? Okay, y'all. I had the biggest crush on him growing up. It was bad. It was so bad. Nothing bad I can think about him, excluding like the Holt side, obviously, because we have Holt later. Nothing bad I can think about him. He's a little awkward, but that's like that can be very cute, you know? He's like an emo nerd, which I love. I love eyebrow piercings, I love glasses. He's very kind, very smart from what we see. At least from what I remember. I was gonna say I haven't watched anything Monster High in a few days, but in a few days, in a while. But I watched Friday Night Frights like the other night. But I think he did get a little jealous when he was dating Frankie. I think, but that's like reasonable. It wasn't like insane. It was just kind of like him shitting on Holt. That was like the bad part of the relationship. But other than that, I think he's pretty great. I think he's like amazing. Like, I can't think of anything negative to say about him. Nathan, like Heath, he's clumsy, but he's like more romantic, more sweet, more kind-hearted. I think he's a little shy, but overall, as a character, he was insanely mid, the most bland, basic, cookie-cutter man love interest that could ever exist. Which is fine if you're into that, but, like, it's whatever. He's so forgettable for me. Porter? Okay. It's like he wants to be Deuce, if that makes sense. He's a troublemaker, which he's like the bad boy stereotype, which, again, very bland, very cookie cutter. Like, bad boy with a secret soft side. But he's nice, I guess. A little bit annoying. I feel like he's like, it would be like the stereotype of kid brings home their partner and they're like bad boy stereotype. They're kind of childish, but then they're willing to like grow up and mature for their partner, you know? So I don't think he's like a completely horrible partner to date for my child. To date from, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna put him here. Below Claude, but above Nathan. I feel like that's where he sits for me. Who dude? Ooh. I don't have much to say about Hoodoo. He's a little annoying, a little cute at times. Like, he can be adorable sometimes, but mostly annoying. I wouldn't put him in Don't Bring Him Home. He's just like, kind of whatever. If that's who my child wants to date, that's fine. But, like, I don't think he'd be a good partner. I don't think he'd be a good boyfriend at all. So I'm gonna put him, not at all. That's a little harsh. But you know what I mean. I'll put him there. No, I think he's fine there. I might change that. Pharaoh? Okay, so this is kind of another Gil situation, but, like, better, because he does stand up to his mother, but he's very, like, sweet to his mother about it, being like, this is really what I love, and I wish you would support me in that. Because I get, like, your vision for me and everything, but this is what I want to do. So that's very nice. I like that a lot. He's very kind-hearted to Caddy. He's very sweet. He's very, I don't think in New York we ever see him be like smart or intelligent, like nothing like that. But it's one of those people we can tell that they are smart. I think he's very smart. He's a musician, but I feel like if my child got married to him and he needed to get a quote unquote real job, he would. I think he would, while still trying to pursue his music career. So for that, I think I'm gonna have to put him. He has the haircut of a 10-year-old boy, so I'm gonna have to put him above Claude, but below marry him. Garrett? I don't know, he was kind of the side-ish, background-ish character in one movie, so it was kind of in a movie that I haven't seen in a while. I really want to rewatch Scarus. He's romantic. He's really romantic. I'll give it to that. I'll give that to him. But other than that, he doesn't have much personality. He's gentle, he's soft-spoken, and he's romantic, and he's creative. But other than that, there's not much else going for him. He feels like romantic in a love bombing, then cheats on you way, but being realistic, I'm gonna assume he wouldn't do that. So I'll put him a little bit above Porter. Valentine? Okay. So, Valentine is my second favorite Monster High character ever, the first being Venus. I have the doll of him, and I'm going to try to exclude the comic version and only Why Do Girls Fall in Love version, like that part we see of him. No, I feel like that's not fair to him. Ooh, I feel like that's not fair to him. But I also haven't read comics with any of these other characters, so Okay, I'll include his comic version just because it gives him a little bit of depth. Just like a little more character to him than just like evil gay guy. So, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to completely brush off what he did in the movie. So obviously, first thing we got to dig into is that he was not a great person for years upon years upon years upon years. And what he did is like unforgivable. But then we also have to take into account the fact that he was willing to change and see what he did was wrong and try to learn from that. So, and you know what? My friend has a boyfriend just like that. But, so I think, he really did change for the better. And he does have a not great past, especially with romance. And I'm trying to take that into accountability, I swear. I'm not trying to just, it's so hard for me not to just put him all the way at the top because I'm so biased. But I think I'm gonna put him here. Because obviously, not great with love in his past, but has changed, is willing to change, is willing to realize what he did was wrong and why he did it, and willing to genuinely make up for it. And I think honestly that makes him really mature. So yeah, he's going a little bit above. Claude and Valentine both look like they're eyeing up Garrett, and Garrett's eyeing up Porter, and Porter's eyeing up Garrett. That's crazy. Anyways, Andy. I wish we got more of Andy, because to me he does just feel kind of bland. But I think he's very loyal. He's very, very loyal. I'll give him that. And I do love loyalty. Shout out to Rainbow Dash. But there's not much with him. My headphones just turned off. That's fine, I didn't need them. But he's very protective. And that's fine. But again, he's pretty bland. If my kid brought him home, I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a boyfriend. Move. Move. No, move. Thank you. Holt. Jesus Christ. I don't even know if I need to explain this one. I don't even know if I need to explain myself on this one. He is kind of sweet with Frankie. Okay, that is really cute. He is kind of sweet with Frankie. I like how he calls her Frankie Fine. I think that's adorable. I think he'd be reckless, but would still do stuff for his partner. So I'm gonna put him a little bit here. And I think that's gonna be my ranking for them. I wanna see what the common ranking is. Slow down, wait. Oh, is this like, hold on, how do I look at the average ranking? Alignment chart. Oh. Is it this one? I'm so sorry, guys. I have no, what? I'm not logging in. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure this out, I promise. But I guess this one would be the easiest one to look at. These are like recently done ones, I suppose. I don't know why they put Holt so high. This person didn't, which I appreciate. They put dues. Oh, okay. They did rank it differently though. Okay. Well, that's gonna be my ranking of the Monster High Mansters. Just based on, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to base it on. I didn't want to do it based on if I would date them because they are high schoolers. And I don't know, I feel like doing it based on how much I like them as a character would be way too biased, and Valentine would be all the way at the top, and I need to make 5 more tiers just for him to be high enough at the top. So I feel like this was like a kind of more fun way to do it. I really liked doing this. And I hope y'all enjoyed too. Okay, have a good day. Bye.